Good morning.
Okay, so we are going to be talking about well, a few things really. We'll talk about kind of digital marketing, but we'll also talk about your fascinating career as well, because you've done a lot, and it's really very interesting. So, for anyone who maybe isn't familiar with Hearsay Social, could you maybe tell us a bit about the company, what it does, and where it's going?
Sure. So, Hearsay Social is an enterprise platform that helps salespeople connect with their customers and prospects on social media.
Okay, and so how are things going for you?
Good. I mean, we started 4 years ago out of my living room in San Francisco, and today we are in 15 countries. We support over 100,000 salespeople who use our technology every day to get on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, etc. So we're on a tear.
Fantastic. So you've been involved in the social business industry, I suppose, as long as it's existed, pretty much. Some may say you helped start it. So if we go back to 2007, I think you launched a Facebook business app. Tell us about that and how that came about.
Sure. So I started off my career as a software engineer. I worked at Microsoft, and then I was at Google. And in 2007, I had been at Salesforce.com for a year and a half. By then, no longer working in a technical function. But I attended the first Facebook developer platform conference. So the first F8, I participated in the hackathon. I was so inspired by what Mark Zuckerberg unveiled on stage that I decided to build an app of my own. I had no idea it would end up going viral, and that I think it was Forrester, Charlene Lee at Forrester, who said that my app, which was called FaceForce, and integrated Facebook and Salesforce.com as a third-party application back in 2007, that she would say that it kick-started the social business movement.
Amazing. So looking back now, I mean, back 2007, that was really early. I remember people talking about Facebook and business back then, and it seemed like there was potential there, but it was maybe quite early for that. And we look now, and things are completely different. You wrote a book in 2009 about the Facebook era and social business, and things must have changed a lot since then. Is it time for a rewrite of that book?
I've been asked that so many times. If only I had the time. It has changed. I remember when I first came out with a book, and that was even 2 years after I had built my application, I received some really kind of hurtful remarks. People thought it was crazy that social would become kind of the standard operating procedure in business. But I think today everyone agrees that it is the social era. And the big question is, what's going to be new on the consumer side? And on the enterprise side, for those of you who work at large companies, it always takes a decade or more to fully operationalize these technologies. And so we're starting to see marketing doing great things, customer service doing great things, sales organizations that we work with at Hearsay, they're starting to adopt. But it takes a while for, and I hate to use the word, but for the change management to actually kick in and for these to become the standard way that people do business.
Okay, now if we look at kind of entrepreneurship, you're a successful female entrepreneur, and I think more than ever people are talking about the importance of diversity in business. And but I still think it feels like a lot of people treat a female entrepreneur as an oddity, as something that's like unusual and like, oh, it's a woman. So how are things, from your experiences, how have things changed in recent years? Are things getting better?
Yeah, I do. I think we still have a long way to go. Certainly in the Valley, there are starting to be more women entrepreneurs. I have the pleasure and honor of working with and mentoring a number of them. I'm glad to see good diversity in this group, but it's so important. I mean, both from a practicality perspective, we just can't hire enough people. But in fact, if any of you want to move to San Francisco and join the Hearsay team, or just stay in Europe and join the Hearsay team, let us know. But within the Silicon Valley pool, there is no choice. I mean, whether you're trying to do this out of the goodness of your heart or not, you have to be inclusive if you have any hope of being able to hire the numbers and levels of people that you need to.
Yeah, I mean, you only have to look at the response to Tim Cook talking about his sexual orientation last week, and just the support and the kind of "Go Tim" attitude behind that. I think people really are kind of treating diversity with the kind of level of importance it deserves now, and hopefully we'll see a lot more female entrepreneurs in the future.
I agree, especially in Europe. I want to see more of you guys.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point. Yeah. I mean, I meet lots of European startups, and very few are founded by women. Do you think that? I mean, is there a cultural difference there between the US and Europe? Any thoughts there?
Well, I'm an observer of Europe now that we have offices here, and I did spend a brief year at Oxford for my postgraduate studies. But I think it's, in general, of course, we always, not to make generalizations, but the new and the irreverent culture within the Valley versus the traditionalism and the reverence for institutions in Europe. But that's starting to change. I think this conference and how quickly it's grown is a testament to that.
Okay, so you are on the Starbucks board. And if someone was to ask me what the Starbucks board looks like, I'd expect a room full of 50 and 60-year-old men. But yeah, I think that's just traditional view of any board. So how did it come about that you got on the board?
It's fascinating. I think it goes to the power of social networks and the importance of mentors, whether you're a man or a woman. Sheryl Sandberg, who had been on a board director at Starbucks before, she decided to step down, getting ready to join the Facebook board a few years ago, and I was one of her mentees that she recommended as a potential candidate. So went through the search process, and it's been an incredible 3 years and counting.
And so I mean, what do you bring to the board? Well,
you'll have to ask them, but I think the reason that I'm on the board and the reason why I think many of you would be great candidates for public company boards is that, we've talked about this all conference. Every industry is being fundamentally transformed by technology, and every company needs to be they need to understand digital, they need to understand mobile, they need to understand social at their core, not outsource it and delegate it to a team within marketing, but actually at the C-level and at the board level. And so more than ever, that technology understanding and that entrepreneurial mindset has become a requirement for running companies large and small.
Okay, and I'm actually, when I was looking through your biography and seeing all the things you'd achieved and done, I was amazed at the diversity of things on there. You started a non-profit organisation, which I believe you're not involved in quite as much now, but tell us a bit about that.
Sure. So when I was at Stanford as an undergrad, and then as I continued on to my graduate studies, I met a few very inspiring leaders. They're entrepreneurial, but they were working in government in Ghana, and we saw that Ghana was going through this transition and this modernization, and we saw the importance of information technology in enabling that transition into modern times. And so a few of us started this nonprofit called Camp Amelia, and we ended up, we still work with the Ministry of Education in Ghana and other countries in West Africa. Very interesting time right now to teach kids how to program and to create a culture of technology learning as a way to bridge the income divide.
And are you seeing real change as a result of that? Is it making an impact?
Well, the thing is, you have to start young. You have to start inspiring an interest in STEM learning at a young age, and it takes a while for those cohorts to graduate. But yes, I think we're starting to see those then kids now go into high school, go into technical colleges, and hopefully pursue very productive technology careers.
Okay, well, I'm sure you're very busy day to day with Hearsay Social, but looking back at all the things you've done, what do you still want to achieve?
Oh gosh, well, it's day by day. I feel any of us who are entrepreneurs in this room, whether we have our own companies or we're entrepreneurs within a bigger company, every 6 months, every 3 months feels different, and I feel like I have to continually reinvent myself. So even within the context of Hearsay, I feel like my job continually changes and shifts. But beyond that, we are at a point now where we have over 150 people, we have a really great team, and so it's freed up some of my time to be able to do a little bit of angel investing and advising smaller, earlier stage companies out there.
Now, you are wrapped up in the world of digital marketing and have been for many years. Could you share maybe 3 trends that you've seen emerge recently that the people here should be aware of?
Sure. I'd say one is we talk about social still, and as we enter that phase where social becomes mature, not only in the consumer spaces but also in the enterprise, it'll become a service layer on top of everything. On top of wearables, on top, or I guess I should say underneath the wearables revolution, the connected home, the connected car, just like cloud has become a service layer. So we'll start to see that mature. I'd say that 2 is that as there's more data and more big data and more metadata being collected in every aspect of our lives, we'll continue to see that shift toward the hyper-targeted segment of one that marketers have talked about, but only recently are the technology components actually available on the market to achieve that. And we'll see as a result of that continued shifting consumer expectations where they're exchanging implicitly or explicitly this data and expecting in return a much more personalized experience that anticipates their needs. And so whatever industry we're in, whether you're selling software or financial services or advertising, I think that'll become the new expectation across the board.
Okay, well, it's been fantastic to speak to you, Clara. You're on stage again, on the centre stage, 11:45 a.m. So if you want to see Clara talk about the future of social, is that correct? Yep. You can catch her there 11:45 today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, Clara Shih.
Thank you.